I'm Catherine Goshen, a professional astrologer, and welcome here Libra and Libra rising. It's the 2025 forecast. Great to see you back. Great to see you here for the first time. Libra overview for 2025. A lot of forward moving energy, and you are emerging over 2025 and 2026 into a much more extroverted phase of your life. And we'll hear all about that. It's got to do with the movement of Saturn, which is changing signs into Aries, which is your house of emerging. And it heralds the start of a new 7-year cycle where you're going to be very productive. The other planet that will move into the sister sign, the sign that is opposite Libra, Aries, is Neptune. So with Neptune, there is an adjustment in your public image, in the way that you deal with relationships, in the way that you put yourself out into the world, and in the way that you relate to those that you are in serious partnership, whether it's personal or business. So a lot of energy in that house. Neptune bringing a more nebulous energy and Saturn bringing a more structured energy. The other big change this year, Libra, is Uranus's move into Gemini. But for the first part of the year, it's still going to be in Taurus, in your 8th solar house, energizing your partner's finances. And also, if you're not in a relationship, you yourself have been engaged in several business partnerships or financial joint endeavors, and you're going to be asked to look at those for the first 6 months of 2025, because you need to start thinking about bringing those to completion. Because when Uranus switches signs in mid-year, it's going to trine your sun in Libra and bring an enormous amount of energy for new engagements. I'm seeing the potential for you to have a wider audience from that time onwards, all the way until 2033. Uranus will be in Gemini. So there could be more technology coming into your work. There could be a deeper spiritual search. There could be travel abroad. There could be a postdoctorate studies in the works. Whatever the case, it's along those lines, and you need to be thinking about those now already, planting seeds for the big shift that will finally take place in 2026. The other thing that's important for you always, Libra, is Venus. Venus is your ruling planet. Beautiful Venus that rules harmony, beauty, and love, and money. And every 18 months or so, Venus has a period where she is not as active. And we're going to have that kind of a period this year. I want you to think about it as taking place from February to June. You're going to have some kind of a theme that you're working on. And in the middle of that, in the months of March and April, there's going to be a slowdown. And those are the months where you want to consolidate what you're doing. You don't want to really move forward at that time. That's your quiet time, your reassessment time, your going deep time. And then after the spring, whatever hemisphere you're in, after the autumn, there's an emergence, and that theme in your life, it picks up again and you get going and it's all systems go. I'll explain it in more detail when we go month by month, but it's so good to be prepared for that period. Finally, there is going to be a huge boost to your career, to your job, to your vocation, to your studies, whatever you are working on that is out there in the world, or if you're considering marriage, relocation, changing your status, this is going to be given a real bountiful blessing by the visit of Jupiter to your 10th solar house. Jupiter will be in this area of your chart from June 2025 to July of 2026. So while the first 6 months of 25 will see you traveling, expanding, doing all these things, making contacts, continuing with your work, maybe you're establishing offices in foreign parts, you're working online with people, but from June onwards, there's really the ability to expand further. Maybe you're going to get a salary increase. There could be a boost. Maybe you'll get a scholarship if you're studying. Whatever the case, that's a positive time. Libra, January begins with a lovely, relaxing period for you. You've got 6 or 7 days to chill out, to rest, whether you're traveling or with family or just having a great time on your own, putting your feet up. Do it. The planets are all suggesting pleasure, relaxation, being with friends. We've got Venus in the house of children, romance. We've got Mars in the house of friendships. So take that time. Allow yourself that first week of January to really enjoy, because around January 7th, you're going to start to feel the push to get back to work. Mars is going to enter back into your house of work, where it will be for quite a while, asking you to revisit things that you left behind at the end of 2024 and deal with issues that you know you need to deal with. You kind of put them off over the holidays, and now it's really time to get to that. And this will come to fullness or fruition, or really be seen around the full moon, which is going to be on the 13th of January and take place in that house of work. Now, what if you're not working, or you're working part-time, or you're retired, or you don't really have a job that earns you money? This could be highlighting something to do with one of your parents. They're under the spotlight, they need attention, or with your status, your public status, you're out in the world. You know that everyone has something that they do, whether they are formally in a job or not. So pay attention to that, because this house is very activated for you this year, Libra. The other thing of note for January is the 29th, the very end of the month. There's going to be a new moon again in that same area of your chart that was highlighted right at the beginning of the year. Children, relaxation, creativity as well. So even though you're working hard the second part of January, you want to make sure that you take time over that new moon, end of the month, to both relax with family or with a romantic partner or on your own, but more importantly, to set your intentions regarding how you want the year to be in terms of creative projects that are going to come through you, in terms of children, in terms of romance. Is there something that is needing to change in your life around these areas? And this is a good new moon to put that forward. Are you able to receive love is the bigger question. Or do you tend to be the giver, always the one giving? That might be very relevant for Libra ascendants. So this is something you can look at around the new moon and set intentions moving forward. February, around the 6th of the month, is the time when there may be a little bit of a conflict arising over those next few days between a relationship you're in and work. Some kind of obstacle to be overcome. Are you working too much and someone in your house is not enjoying that? They need more time. Or are you so involved in issues that are going on with family that you can't give your full attention to work? During this time, it's very, very good to keep juggling. Don't give up and don't let one of those sides take all of you. The secret for you, especially at this time, early February, is to balance the home family relationship life, and things are going to work out. This year is very much about relationships, so if you are looking for a relationship, it's a good year to put yourself out there. And if you are in a permanent relationship, it's going to be a lot of give and take and a lot of learning about love and relationships for you, Libra. If you're disinterested in relationship, again, we're looking at business partnerships, business relationships, or simply you're dealing with issues surrounding not having a relationship, and that may come up for examination. The full moon on the 12th of February in the sign of Leo is a wonderful time to relax. You have been dealing with stuff at work, and now is that time to be with a friend or to figure out, are you getting enough remuneration from your job? This might be a good time to ask for a bonus or a salary increase, because there's a lot of activity in the house of your chart that has to do with money coming in from work. So pay attention to that and put it on the radar for that time. The other thing I'm seeing in February is when Mars, the action planet, around the 24th of the month is going to move from retrograde to direct. So first of all, take the 24th as a day of adjustment. And secondly, you have been going through a lot of things for the second time at work, redoing things, etc. Now is the time that things start to pick up and move forward again, but it's very slow. It's going to pick up speed into March. While the action planet will be moving forward in March, your ruling planet Venus is going to be slowing down. So as February gets into the second part, start to pay attention to that. It means that work can move forward, but your personal life needs review, and you need to make space for that. So now is a good time to book a few days off, either in March or April, and to plan for the fact that you're going to want to have more time to process things. Work can take care of itself. The other thing that comes in the spotlight at the end of February is the 28th of the month. There's going to be a new moon in the sign of your chart that has to do with taking care of your health, your routines, those things that we do every day that then ensure that we can function well and feel great. So I'm going to invite you at the end of February to put that on your list. Go back to the gym. If you haven't been, go to that yoga class. Whatever you do, go jogging, go running, what makes you feel good. And also re-establish any healthy routines that may have fallen away over the holidays or over January month. March is very active for everyone, Libra, mostly because the eclipse season begins, and that always brings up stuff for everyone on the planet. For you, it's an interesting time because several of the eclipses in 2025 are going to be asking you to really get healthy, stay healthy, and also to deal with any issues that you've swept under the carpet or hidden away in the last couple of years. They will now come up to be seen. The slowdown of Venus that we spoke of, which is going to be for all of March and part of April, just a reminder that when Venus is retrograde, and it's a double reminder for you, Libra, because she's your ruling planet, not a good time for a new makeover, going out there and buying a ton of new clothes, redoing your decor in your home, investing in new financial endeavors. Anything that Venus rules is suspect, starting a new romance that seems too good to be true. Days that are highlighted for March will be around the 4th of the month, when the communication planet moves into your house of the other person. And then on the 14th, there's going to be that first eclipse of the year. At the full moon, a total lunar eclipse in Virgo, the sign that rules your 12th house of refreshment, where you go to be quiet to refresh yourself. So at that full moon, things could come up to be seen, spiritual things, or things again that you need to take care of and that you might have kind of shoved away. They want to be seen at this time. And that's going to be very, very interesting how this theme recurs throughout the year for you, Libra. It's saying, look at those things, bring them to the light, and that's all that needs to be done. The partial solar eclipse, or the first solar eclipse, is going to take place at the very end of the month. And that once again is highlighting partnerships. So you can't get away from this. What it can also be saying is that you're being forced to look once again at your own identity and how you relate to others in the world. And during this whole month, we've got that deep inner look because of the retrograde motion of Venus. So it's time to do the dialogue. All the meantime, work is energized, work is happening. There's some talk or discussion about finances and money, because this always comes up whenever Venus is highlighted. Something has to be reviewed. You know, maybe it's a salary review, maybe it's going over old documents. But whatever the case, when you have an eclipse like the lunar eclipse, you want to make sure that all your legal papers, your legal stipulations, let's say you're in a business, they must be in order. The other important astrological event that's going to take place right at the end of March, so in other words, after that solar eclipse, which took place at the new moon in Aries around the 29th, is Neptune's move into Aries. This is the time where relationships come into the spotlight. Are they founded on a solid base? Can you trust your partner? What's going on? Is there something that needs to be seen? Neptune may bring those kind of themes up. On a more positive note, Neptune changing signs can bring a huge flow of new creative endeavors into the world, because Neptune is going to be at 0 degrees of Aries. And this energy wants to come forward into the planet. Neptune is very much about altruistic behavior as well. And it's coming into your 7th house. So maybe you're going to consider doing some volunteer work, or linking your business to a charity and donating some of your profits to people who are less fortunate than you. All of these are very good themes to think about as Neptune changes signs. And again, it's a slow change. Neptune's going to be there until 2039. So Libra, you will have plenty of time to explore this energy. The first part of April is really a good time for taking stock once again Is your daily routine in order? Have you had your medical checkup for the year? Are you feeling good? Is there anything you can tweak in your diet and get it just right? And then after the 7th, there's a great shift where our communication planet moves forward. Things are going to start to pick up speed for you. And the second period of note for April, Libra, is the 13th, because first of all, that's when Venus stations direct. So she moves forward. She's going to slowly start to pick up speed. And on that same day, give or take a day on either side, there's going to be a full moon. And that full moon is in Libra. It's your full moon. So there's a lot highlighted there. Your ruling planet is changing direction, and there's a full moon in your sign. What needs to be seen about your identity? Is there some kind of conflict between what you think is expected of you and what your boss, your partner, your family, your friends expect of you? Seeing a little bit of tension there. And it's a great day to push forward with things. Be clear on what you want and what you need. And this is going to take you through that period. It could even go on into the week after the 13th. Another big shift I see in April is around the 20th, when the sun moves into Taurus, and then a week later there's going to be a new moon in that same sign. And for you, that time of year is going to herald in a look at finances again. If you have a portfolio, bring it up, review it, and just keep tabs. If you're in a marriage, check out your joint finances. The mortgage might need some attention. Something will come up around that time. And it's a good time at every single new moon to set intentions. And the Taurus new moon is about grounding. So if you love to garden, and I know you love flowers, Libra, get out there, do some planting for the spring, because the day after new moon is a very, very fruitful time for the earth, and you're going to feel that this planting is symbolic. It's starting something new for you. You will know what that is. This is a general forecast, but I'm seeing action in that area of your life. Maybe you're letting go something that's been painful, and you're finally deciding to move on. And as you plant those bulbs or those flowers, you begin to see that there's hope, there's new life, and there's something to look forward to. Libra, it's hard to believe that it's May already, and I get very excited when I look at the astrology for May for you, because many of you could be tying the knot at that time or committing to your loved one. This is a time where your ruling planet is in the house of relationships. It's strong. You've worked through a lot over the past few months. You're feeling good about love. And then at the end of the month, Saturn is going to come in there. And Saturn represents stability, it represents permanence, and it represents commitment. So some of you will be getting married, or you will be moving in together, or you will be cementing your marriage with a child. There is a seriousness to this entry of Saturn into your 7th solar house, and I'm wishing you so much joy. May your marriage last all your life if you are committing. It's a serious endeavor, and with the help of Saturn there, you can do it. And if marriage is the last thing on your mind, or you've been married many years, what could be taking place now is an emergence into life. We spoke about this earlier. Stepping up and realizing this is now my time. I've done 7 years of hard work, and I'm actually ready to put myself out there more and to stand up and be counted. So whatever the case is, it's a transition time for you, and it doesn't just happen in May of 2025. We're talking about a long transition. And Saturn, in spite of it going back and forth for a little bit, back into Pisces, it's going to then re-enter your house of partnership and be there all the way until the spring of 2028. So lots of time to work on this. Perhaps you're just meeting someone and realizing that the relationship is serious. Apart from Saturn moving into Aries on the 26th, and remember, this is a slow moving planet, so it's not just a single day. You will feel that for that entire week. Other dates for May are the 12th. There's a beautiful full moon in Scorpio, and I'm seeing the possibility for you to have some money coming in at that time. Finances are activated. There might be something you need to work through first, but there's something coming in or something coming to fruition, and it looks like it's to do with money. Don't allow yourself to second guess yourself at this time. You need to be confident, and you need to be aware that you're moving towards something better. The final event in May is the new moon in Gemini. That's going to take place around the 27th of the month. And that's going to bring in a lot of seeding energy for travel, for sports, for spiritual retreats, for reading that new book and expanding your mind, even if it's armchair travel. June is a great time for making money, for having money coming in. There's an expansion due to two different factors. The one is that Venus is going to be in the sign of Taurus, one of the places that she rules. She's comfortable there. She can manifest money, beauty, love. So a wonderful time also for romance. Now you can go out and buy those new clothes, have that new hairstyle, or whatever you like to do that makes you feel really good. Money is very highlighted because she'll be traveling through a money house for you. And always double check on shared finances at this time. Secondly, the wonderful, bountiful movement of Jupiter into your house of work, bringing expansion from June 10th until July of 2026. So make the most of that, Libra. There's going to be opportunities coming in. The only challenge could be that there are too many things being offered to you and you're going to have to pick and choose. Another thing that can come under the spotlight for you with Jupiter's ingress into Cancer is one of your parents. They may need you more, they may need your attention. Furthermore, you could be tying the knot once again, a change of status, getting married, or moving to a new country, getting a green card, something like that. There's a lot of expansion over that next year. So make your plans accordingly. And I'm seeing all of this highlighted for June around the 25th, when there's that new moon in your house of work, of status change. Earlier in the month of June, there will be a full moon around the 11th, and that's in your place of siblings. So maybe you're hooking up, visiting a brother, visiting a sister, having to help them out with something. If not siblings, we could be talking about communication, community, neighborhood, commuting, having work on the car, whatever it is. That's your full moon for those areas of your life. And then you are going to feel a definite shift. So take a day of adjustment on the 18th. When the action planet switches signs, for you it's going from a very outgoing area of your chart to a more private place. So that means that July is probably going to be working behind the scenes for you and tying up loose ends that you haven't got to yet during the year. Libra, on the 5th of July, your ruling planet moves into Gemini, and that house, as we know, has to do with travel, expansion, study, and all the good things in life. And it's going to be there all month. So I hope that you do have a chance to travel abroad, to travel far, to travel wide, and to expand your horizons. The most important event of July is going to be that move of Uranus into Gemini 2, which we spoke of in the introduction. And how it's going to work is Uranus will dip into Gemini, that house of yours, which has to do with all these good themes, and it's going to stay there until November 9th. And then it's going to move back into Taurus, into that house that has to do with inheritance, other people's money, and so on. And it will come back into Gemini at the end of April 2026 and will be there all the way to 2033. So you really need to pay attention to what's going on in your life around that week of July 8th, because it's going to set the tone for what's going to be taking place much later on. And it's a positive energy for you, Libra. Think about it. Gemini is also an air sign. And there's going to be a beautiful air trine forming between Uranus, the planet of change, electricity, technology, sudden events, and it's going to be sending that energy to your sun in a way that you can work with it, or to your ascendant if you're Libra rising. So greater authenticity, greater expression of who you are, and all of that taking place in a solar house that has to do with expansion. So I see it as a spiritual time for you, Libra. All these years ahead, going deeper into something and really allowing things that have held you back in a narrow way, maybe rigid ideas, to allow those to fall away and to open to something that is far more radical, because Uranus is a radical planet. And I also want to draw your attention to the fact that when it moves into Gemini, this important moment, it's going to be touching your planet, Venus, because, as we mentioned, Venus is in Gemini for the whole of July. So there's an intensity to your life at this time. Whatever Uranus touches, it intensifies. So for you, Libra, you're going to feel that intensity in mid-July. And you want to make sure that you know how to utilize that energy, because it's literally pouring in. So make sure that you are busy at this time. While we mentioned the potential for travel, there's also the potential for a lot of energy in the home, because there's a full moon in the house of your home. And that will be on the 10th of the month. And we haven't mentioned the home much until now. So if you need to put good energy into your home, this is the time. Might have a parent coming to stay. There might be something to do with renovations or with children. Whatever the case, this is where you're meant to be putting your focus. There's an expansion, but there's also an acknowledgement of roots, where you're coming from, and what is the place on this planet that makes you feel grounded and real. Other energies around July are a second Mercury retrograde, and it's a slowdown that's going to highlight from the 18th of July all the way to the end of the month, the area that has to do with friends and groups and community, also possibly money coming in from work. So this is your time to visit those old friends, to catch up with news, and to, host those friends in the neighborhood that you haven't been seeing for a while. All that is happening because there's also the sun moving into that area of your chart on the 22nd, and the new moon in Leo on the 24th of the month, helping you to set goals, set dreams for the future. August begins with the opportunity to be publicly acknowledged, because on the 1st of the month, your ruling planet is in a very public place. So if you need to get your message out or declare your love to someone, now is a really good time. What else is happening in August is on the 7th, the action planet Mars is going to change signs. What does that mean for you, Libra? Mars is coming into your sign. So for the next month or two, you've got a lot of energy to shine, to go forth, to do what you need to do. You should be feeling very vital, and it's really time to show the world what you've got. Around that 7th, 8th, 9th, it's going to be an interesting opportunity. In fact, a golden opportunity, because they're going to be 3 planets forming a grand trine in air signs. And that can really help you to do something phenomenal. I mean, if you are planning something, there's tons of energy about it this time. We've also got a T-square, and I don't need to go into details here, but Saturn, Mars, and Jupiter are also hooking up together. So all the planets are aligning for something great to happen, something important to happen. If we're not mindful of at this time, the energy can be dissipated or can be used for negative actions. So I want you to be aware in advance and to know that this is the time to try to push forward with all your might. And yes, you may experience delays, that's okay, but don't be disheartened. Things are going to move forward, especially after the 11th, when Mercury moves direct and we've got this flow of communication starting to happen as Mercury picks up speed again. And that's going to happen just after the full moon, which is on the 9th, and that's taking place in your house of romance, pleasure, relaxation, and creativity. So take a little bit of time for that. Maybe you're going to be kicking back at home with family and just really enjoying yourself. After the 11th, things pick up speed again. And then there's another switch near the end of the month when you get a chance to refresh, go deep again. After that very outgoing start to the month ends in a quieter place. The sun moves into Virgo, and there's a new moon in Virgo, 0 degrees of Virgo, which is going to be the first of 2 new moons in that sign of Virgo. And for you, it's in a quiet place. Something's happening behind closed doors, and you want to pay attention to it because it's going to come up again at the end of the following month. And finally, just a note, Libra, that every year at this time, when the sun enters Virgo, this is the time for you to refresh, because when the sun enters Libra on your birthday, you revitalized again. So use the next 3.5 weeks to take stock, to finish off projects that are, you've placed on the back burner, or that you really need to get to completion, so that when your birthday rolls around, you're ready to step into a new solar year. September is going to be a wonderful month, Libra, as long as you can listen to your body. Take care of yourself this month. There's a lot of potential for getting things done and moving forward, but you don't want to be caught short because you're not up to your standards of health. I want to see you definitely exercising, eating well, and taking a good night's sleep for the whole of September. Why am I saying this, Libra? Because you've got the eclipses in Pisces, Virgo, which is your health axis. So take care of your body. Things should be fine. You've also got Mars energizing your sun. The only difficulty is when you don't listen and you stay up late, you don't eat well, and you don't take care of the things that you should. The 7th of the month will see that full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. And that's in that house of not only health, but also daily routines. So make sure that you are getting a balanced day, having enough time to spend for relaxation as well as work, because we know that things have really been growing for you on your job, more responsibilities and so on since June. The other thing of note for September will be the 21st. That will be the second eclipse, and that is the second new moon in Virgo, which will also be a solar eclipse. Once again, you want to make sure your slate is clean in every way, because how eclipses work is they can act like a bottleneck. Things build up, build up, build up, and then after the eclipse, they're suddenly released and exposed to the light. If you have nothing to worry about, I would suggest taking a day off. Even if you're at work, making a mental day off on these 2 eclipse days. You need some headspace. Go for a walk after work. Don't crowd your life out with social activities during that full and new moon in the month of September. You need time to refresh and to contemplate all that has been going on. Just after the new moon solar eclipse, Mars is going to leave your sign and dip into Scorpio. And this is very, very good because it marks the start of a financial month for you, the month of October, where things can go very well with your resources. Maybe money's coming in, maybe there's something positive that's happening in that area. Most likely you also feel very good, feeling self-confident because you weathered that storm of the eclipses and you took good care of yourself. So I'd like to usher in October with this intention that you're really going to be at your best. You're going to be earning at your highest. Your business is doing well, you're feeling confident, and it's really a good, productive time for you. Other highlights and good things for October, Libra, are the 6th, where there will be a full moon in your house of partnerships, that is Aries. So make the most of a loved one at that time. If you're single, get out there, go dating, have fun. And if you're not interested in a relationship, that full moon can be a very productive time. Maybe you're going to use the Aries energy to do something courageous, something physical, climb a mountain, or go deep sea diving. But use it well, because the full moons bring energy, and we do need to learn over time how best to utilize their energy so that it doesn't come out in a negative emotional response. Other positive things for October are from the 14th all the way until November 6th. You're going to have your ruling planet, Venus, in your sign. So now she's in Libra. She's making you hopefully feel at your most beautiful best, at your most handsome. If you're a woman trying to get pregnant, this might be a fertile time for you. And in general, it's a good time for finances. It's a time when you can seek harmony. If there has been any discord in the family, now is the time to reach out and try to heal whatever has been going on. On the 21st, it's your new moon in Libra. And of course, this is an opportunity to wish you happy birthday, because you've either just celebrated your birthday or are just about to. May it be a wonderful year, Libra, and use this new moon on the 21st, give or take a day on either side, to set your intentions for the year ahead. What do you want to achieve from now until next Libra season? Libra, there may be a little bit of a slowdown at work during November. Nothing radical, but this is suggested by the retrograde motion of Jupiter. So possibly some of those projects that have been expanding, or that new energy that's been coming into work. Maybe you've had several kinds of job offers, or you're setting out and you you're planning to go to college and now is the time where you have to make choices. Whatever the case, there's a bit of a slowdown to give you time to review. And that's a long time, so don't rush things. There's also going to be a Mercury retrograde that takes place. So there's plenty of time for reflection. And what I see happening at the beginning of the month is action with all this communication. Maybe you're having to get those papers in to apply for college or to apply for a postgraduate degree or for another course that you want to study. There's a lot of action. Maybe it's to do with visiting a brother or a sister. Maybe you're getting a new lease, a new car. Regardless, as the month gets underway, that energy slips back into finances, dealing with money. So those are really the themes that I'm seeing around November for you. And you can be proactive. So don't be alarmed if there's something slowing down. Don't worry if there are delays. It seems to me as if they're meant to be. There will be a full moon in your house of joint finances around the 5th of November. So be aware what's going to come up, what energy there is. If finances are not an issue, it could be something to do with your own inner self. Matters surrounding Venus are also highlighted after the 7th of November because she's going to move into Scorpio. And this is a time where we usually say it might not be best to begin a new romance. It might not be best to take out a new loan. Just be aware of all the things that Venus rules. You know them by now. There will be a new moon in Scorpio on the 20th of the month. And on the 29th, Mercury is going to pick up speed in that same area, Scorpio. Always to do with money for you, Libra. Resources, what needs to be seen, and can things now start to move forward after you've had that period of reflection. Libra, 2 themes are highlighted for you during December. Hard to believe that it's the end of the year already. The one is home. I see you spending lots of time at home, enjoying it, enjoying being with family. There's good energy there. And the second theme is travel. And they're not mutually exclusive. You also will be very happy traveling at this time. Going abroad, it looks like long distance travel. If not travel, expanding your mind again. Maybe you're traveling for a spiritual retreat. Whatever the case, both are favored. And the times that will be highlighted for December are the 4th of the month, when there's a full moon for you in that house of travel abroad, broadening your horizons, connecting with people around the globe. And there's also going to be a shift around the 16th of December with the action planet moving into your home. And that's why I see you comfortable there, especially because Venus is going to join it there on the 24th of the month. So you could have a beautiful holiday season, comfortable, cozy, and snug at home. The year ends for you on a beautiful new moon in the sign of Sagittarius. You're hanging out with family or you're traveling abroad, but either way you feel good. Communication is clear for you at this time. A lot of the delays that we've spoken about have resolved, and yet we are getting a time to reflect back very deeply on what's been taking place for the last 2 years, because all those slow-moving planets have dipped back into their original signs. Saturn is in Pisces, Neptune is in Pisces, Uranus is back in Taurus. So I see you finishing off the year being aware that you need to complete something before 2026 gets underway, which is going to be an even bigger year for you, Libra. Wishing you all the best, Libra. Post me a comment, tell me how you're doing, and I will see you next time.